When fans are booing their number one player for daring to accept a ridiculously large deal that will set him up for the rest of his life, you know you need to look at LOYG. Yes, it's Wassigo. Look at LOYG. Stu here again. Howdy. Dave's there. G'day, mate.
Hey, guys.
And Benjamin.
Hello, Stu. Hello, Dave.
Yeah, now there's a lot of LOYG news. Actually, there's not that much. There's a few. I'll just run through them quickly. If you've got something to say about it, chime in at the end. Smithies and Hudson Young copped their breach notices for their inflatable bat shenanigans in Vegas. Mitchell Moses' foot appears to be completely disintegrating. Warriors assistant coach faces punishment for his throat-grabbing gear. And Dragons have finally released Molo. Clem has signed with them. Ravalawa is now a bunny. But there's no Talon May news. That's all hush-hush still at the moment. Thoughts?
I think both of the Eels halves have done very well signing up to big money long-term extensions. Both Moses with no foot and Brown with no tier one talent to get all the money.
Yep, outstanding. And I think one of the biggest pieces of league news this week is that Ravalawa has been named on an extended bench for the Bunnies with no photo.
Yeah. Yeah. How hard is it to Photoshop a bloody South jersey on someone?
Very.
Can't find a neck.
Get any sort of random South bloke from any crowd from the last 30 years and stick Ravalawa's head on that. Yeah, you say about the tier one talent, right? But I think, as much as it still frustrates me, we're kind of starting to see how Newcastle might play with Brown there, in that Ponga's actually playing more as a halfback this year.
Yeah.
So fullback in defence, halfback in attack pretty much. Which means that Fletcher Sharp is 5/8 in defence and kind of fullback in attack, which kind of, I suppose, makes what Brown will do there probably clearer if they stick to that.
Do you think Sharp will be halfback or Brown next year?
I don't think it'll matter who's...
It doesn't matter because it's the Ponga show.
Because Ponga will be playing the half role in attack.
Ponga will be playing all three positions.
Yeah, all three, yeah. And that's fine because he's that good.
Yeah. Anyways, so the games. Yeah, I didn't get to see many games this weekend. I was out and about for a lot of it, but I did land at a fine hotel in Chatswood at 4 p.m. on Sunday to watch the Spoon Bowl rematch with a couple of mates, one of which is a Eels supporter and one of which is a Tiger supporter. And Dave, you talk about desperate for joy. Watch a game of league with friends where both their teams are struggling, and that's where you see real desperate for joy happening.
How was the Eels fan in the first 20 minutes? Because I can understand how they would be, I would guess how they would be in the last 20 minutes, but when there was still hope and optimism.
He's a brave-faced merchant, but after a while he was just bringing up topics of discussion unrelated, just trying to keep talking about other things and going, yeah, well...
The guy I sit next to at work, I would say he was an Eels trader. He said today, I don't follow rugby league anymore. He's broke. They've broken him.
We're 2 rounds in.
Yeah.
Although
that is tragic. Like, he was a tragic. Now it's tragic.
But Ben, you said you didn't get to watch much league either this weekend?
No, but I did make a point of watching the highlights of the Sharks-Cowboys game.
Yes.
Which filled me with much joy.
Right.
I was very happy to see that.
So this podcast this week is brought to you by KO Mini, clearly. Dave, tell me you watched some league.
Of course, watched lots of league. But my heart wasn't in it after Friday night's debacle.
Yeah, tell us about that, Dave.
Oh, is that where we want to start? Well, at least we can get it over and done.
Get it out of the way.
I had a very, very bad round on the tips, and I'll go the positive side. How impressive was it seeing the Roosters reserve grade pull out the game of their lives?
Yeah.
Wasn't that great?
I've got to ask you, what is it? Is it complacency? Or what was it hunger? Did they not have enough preseason? Like they didn't play trials?
In these 4 years of Panther Magic, there's been a game in the first 4 or 5 rounds every year. Remember 2 or 3 years ago, there was the one against the Tigers in the rain?
Yes, I do remember.
They've got one of these early in the season every year.
So,
but I didn't expect to let that many points in.
Yeah, but I
don't know whether they let that many points in last to anyone, let alone a team of
the Kanatanawasis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to have a game like this every now and again, and I don't know whether it's good or bad, really. It might be good in that there's any complacency might be shook out of them now.
Well, it's going to get shook out of them this weekend.
Yes.
Like, how do you feel about that being the backup? Like, that's the game after. So the Panthers are playing the Storm this weekend.
In Melbourne.
How is that? How are you, Dave? Because I looked at that this afternoon and went, ugh.
Now I'm thinking, like, instead of what it's been like, it's been really weird the last few years. And whenever they play, you expect to win. And if they don't win by the right margin, you're disappointed. It's been weird. Now, after that, we're going to go to Melbourne, and I hope we don't lose by more than 12. Like, it's a real different mindset.
I can't say I'm feeling that. The last thing Storm would have wanted is Panthers to lose and be fucking ropeable.
Have something really to prove in round 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the last thing they want. They will probably want... The thing they wanted was for Panthers to cruise through the Roosters and then trot down to Melbourne a little bit full of themselves, maybe.
Well, Melbourne will be ready for... Here's a bit of what we should have given you in grand final day.
Oh, yeah, but they're coming off a bye. Does that matter?
Pappy's back. Those locks are flowing.
Yeah.
What about Edwards? Like, he hasn't been...
Yeah, I think... Well, he's off injured now for 3 or 4 weeks. So that kind of... I guess that... I think he took that with him to Vegas because he was not...
That's what I was going to say. Like, he has not... Those 2 games, he has not been himself. Like, he has someone else's hands attached to his arms.
Yeah.
Can I tell you what I think that is?
Go.
He doesn't use... he rarely uses his hands. And I think if he's a bit injured, maybe he was looking to pass more than he usually would.
Than run. Yeah.
And he can't. It's not his go.
Yeah.
Well cracked.
His go is running 300 metres and being feral. All right, what about some other games here? Knights looked pretty good against the Dolphins.
That was really impressive from the Knights early. They came out like a shot and hit with a few early tries. Then they just plodded through the back half of the game. But early on, they looked like they would have been beating anyone.
All right.
Really well. The Ponga show was on.
Here we go. I want a tepid take from both of you. AOB, genius or arsey bastard?
Knights win in spite of AOB.
Ooh. I was actually going to give him a bit of credit there. I was going to say that, I think that he's got a little something going for him, and I reckon,
He does. He took the long way around to get there, though. Fuck me. Anyway, 8 halfbacks later. What about the Wars tearing apart the Eagles? That was kind of pleasant to watch. I did see some of that one.
We're from the Eagle tearing side, or thank goodness the Warriors are back on track side?
Oh, I don't know. There's something heartwarming about the Wars doing well at home, particularly.
I love that. I feel like that's a crowd that really deserves their team to do well.
Yeah.
It was the biggest crowd of the round too. The Warriors.
Yeah.
They filled their stadium.
And
they're back there.
Against the Roosters. That'll be an interesting watch. How's about the poor old Dargans getting done by 1 point by Not at all good-looking Souths.
It's not good.
It's a very unattractive side.
Yeah.
Yeah. You mean physically?
No,
In their appearance?
Now that Cam Murray's not there.
Yeah, right. Did you see the coach Flanagan after the game?
Oh, yes. That's too far.
Wouldn't want to be one of these players in the next 10 days.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Ilias, you saw how he played comment. You got it. That's not back in your players. That's just rogue. Don't you reckon? That's rogue.
It's rogue in the. It's rogue.
It's rogue.
It's rogue in the change room, let alone in public.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, give it 10 days. Let's see what happens. Let's see if he fires up or if he ends up in reserve grade in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, the poor bloke broke his leg, barely played last year, getting his head back above water in the NRL. Anyway, what's next? Sharks taking apart the Cowboys. Holy dooly, how good's that?
How did that thin head look streaking down the sideline time after time?
Time after time.
I feel like I'm just going to continually have to be, hopefully, for the remainder of the season, I'm going to be apologising to Kale Ero time and time again.
For saying he couldn't attack for shit.
For doubting his attacking prowess.
Exactly. Now I need to start bagging on Ramian, and then we'll be sweet.
Yeah. Can I do a segue?
Absolutely.
Go.
Talk about not being able to attack for shit. Reece Walsh and the Broncos. No, poor bloke. That was the worst game of his life, don't you reckon?
Worst game we've seen him play.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Jesse Arthur's, just quietly.
3 rows into the crowd, and I turn it on, and that's pretty much the first thing I see. Raiders smashed him, eh?
And talk about the Panthers' attitude against the Roosters. Do you think it's shade to the same here? The Broncos got ahead of themselves?
That's the easy answer, isn't it? But I don't understand how you can be...
Or are the Raiders good?
The Raiders are good.
The Raiders
are good. I take back everything I've said about the Raiders in that first period of time. They were good.
You should probably put them 5th on your ladder. Like real canny operators do.
It's really much easier to pick what order you want to put your teams on the predictor ladder after you've seen them play.
Yeah, absolutely. What a great idea.
For some of us. All right. But, I just think Raiders are it's form. They're in good form. But you asked about Broncos and Panthers. I don't know how you can be complacent this early in the season.
In round 2?
Yeah. Like, you're complacent after you've cruised through about a dozen matches and don't look getting beaten, so you start taking the foot off. Surely not in round 2.
Who knows? Maybe they just read their own press.
Yeah.
Right, and just sort of rolled into that game thinking, no, we're good here.
Yeah.
And found out that they weren't good here at all.
I mean, we saw a lot of it down here. You can only imagine what the Queensland press was like.
Oh, yeah.
They would have been talking about premiership windows and all the rest.
Yes. But Panthers, I mean, they might be just knackered.
Yeah. Play a lot of footy. Yeah. No weeks off. All the rep games, all the finals games for 5 years.
Yes.
And then just chucking a little Vegas trip in there.
But let me just see who Raiders have got next week. They've got Manly at 4 Pines. I don't know.
I think this is a very, very interesting game because Turbo and DCE have both been named. And, grabbing your back during a game of rugby league isn't a great sign. And Turbo's, one half break away from a full break. So
could
become the Raiders. Raiders 3. I will be picking the Raiders in this game.
Why? I don't know.
Because if one, let alone both of those players are out, they're not the same team. For Manly, I mean. Yeah.
Sure, they pay him more than $1 million a season, but can't Manly do us all a favour and bench Turbo till Origin? Then you can have what's left after Origin.
What, have him pop his shoulder out in the first 4 minutes again?
Yes. Like, seriously, are we going to do our bit for our stadium, Manly, or what?
Well, I mean, Souths have done it. Souths have put Latrell on the sideline until Origin, so that's all right. That's good. Thanks, Wayne.
Round 2 Origin tech. Good job, boys.
Spoon Bowl Mark 2. Tigers smashed Eels. We've been through that. And then, the fullbacks scored a lot of points, but not enough. Against, Bulldogs who got 40. Matt Burton went down in the process. I haven't looked to see whether he was named, but he hasn't.
He's not. He's gone for a couple of weeks. He's done his MCL.
Yes.
Kikau's also out for a spell.
Yes.
I think it's the lack of lamb's wool on his head.
Yeah, him and Appy both have got rid of the Brillo gear on top.
Got rid of the top deck.
Top deck.
Yes. So there you go. I mean...
Well, that doesn't seem like you're excited by round 2, Stu.
Well, I don't know. The upsets are... Like, I don't know what to make of the upsets. Like, $11 Roosters were. $11.
Can I make an out, like, just a reference to tipping in that my mum is in a tipping comp that I am in, and after 6 games last weekend, she was 5 of 6.
Yep.
What was her method?
I asked, and she could not tell me.
Yeah.
The vibe.
So, my boss is the same. My boss doesn't follow league and got 1 wrong. And I said, how did you do that? She says, I don't look at the odds. Like, I'll make sure I don't look at the odds. And I said, well, that's the only way you can get your tips right at the moment. Anyway.
Yeah, it was, it's going to be a very interesting few weeks to see where everything settles.
Did you want to do a quiz day?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So this week we've got another 3 questions, and I'm actually going to keep score to let you know who the winner is at the end.
I thought we both tied the last 2 weeks. Yeah, 3 questions.
We can do that for 27 weeks if you like.
Newtown crowd style. Just
we'll go closest to the pin, so that we don't have to keep going over and over and guessing if you don't get it straight away.
Yep.
So first question, I've talked about this before. I just love these stats. Which team after round 2 has the best completion rate in the NRL?
Oh, across both rounds?
Yes, sir. Total now that we've got to the end of round 2.
Well, you're preying on my bad memory because I don't remember who we said last week.
Buzz?
Raiders?
Yeah.
Oh, damn it.
No, Raiders are not. And
No.
You'll be shocked to find out Raiders are third last.
Oh, my God.
Can I say the Newcastle Knights?
Newcastle Knights, Ben, well done. They're dead last.
This is the best. I win for being furthest away from the best.
Furthest away. It's crazy. Like, they've had 2 great games and lots of attack, lots of points, and they're last.
Completion.
You want to have another guess each, seeing as you both picked bottom end?
Tigers.
Tigers are 5th, 81%.
All right. It's going to be someone annoying, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, depends.
Who? Oh, geez. Well,
pick a team or I will.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, the first team that came to mind was the Dolphins.
Dolphins are also towards the bottom. Sorry, Ben.
Roosters.
Okay. You've got that one. The Warriors are number 1 at 84%. Rabbitohs number 2 at 83%. And the Cowboys are 3rd. Make sense of this.
No.
So the coaches have got strategies, but anyway.
All right, I think I'm figuring out how we've managed to tie both weeks. None of us get any answers right.
We're not allowed to look at any stats over the weekend at all.
All right, this one's a lot more basic and fully closest to the pin. So the 2024 and the 2025 Panthers, they both in rounds 1 and 2. So I'll phrase this completely wrong. After 2 rounds, they were even on points scored and points let in. Guess the difference this year compared to last year. So they're even. So they let in as many points this year as they've scored, and last year they'd let in as many points in as they'd scored. So what do you think the net total after 2 weeks is this year compared to last year?
So I think Buzz, I think it'll be...
Oh, come on, Ben.
36.
Yeah. Stu?
Oh, all right. Well, that's not right. Can we go the Price is Right higher or lower?
Yeah, go for it. You're going to go higher or lower?
No, you tell me whether I got to go.
No way.
All right, 32.
It's 34.
Oh.
That's dead in the middle.
Split the difference, Buckland.
So this year they've let in 60 points in over the 2 rounds. Last year it was only 26.
Right.
So we are tied again. Last question. This one is about teams that are in the 8 after the 2 rounds. How many of them last year made the final 8? Out of the 8 teams that were in the 8 at the end of round 2, how many remained there till the end of the year?
3.
4.
Oh, fuck. Yep.
Stu gets that one. It was 5.
What?
So 3 came in, Ben. So that 3 is relevant. The Panthers, Bulldogs, and Knights all had rough starts, so they had to make up ground and make the final.
Oh, right.
On the field. There you go. So well done.
All right. Why don't we get into... I might combine up the team lists and the predictions this week. That probably makes more sense. So, looking at Storm and Panthers, as we said, Dill Edwards out, Dane Laurie in at fullback. We have got Schneider coming onto the bench. And, that looks about it as far as changes for the Panthers. Piappenhausen's in there. Melbourne look pretty full strength to me here. In fact, they look completely full strength.
Warbrick is missing on the wing for them. That's it.
Sorry, mate? Oh, yeah, Grant Anderson in for Warbrick. And still no big Sasquatch Nelson. So what are we thinking there, fellas?
I'm just going to take Melbourne straight up.
Yeah. I think Melbourne in a low-scoring game. Compared to what we've seen the last week, I think it'll be a low-scoring game.
I'm going to take Panthers. Just because of, I was so bolshy before about what their attitude's going to be. I'll take Panthers for a close win. Wars and Roosters. What do we got here? For Roosters, they look pretty... Oh, yeah, sorry. Who was the Fekete, was it? Was he the lock? The debuting lock? He's suspended, so Radley goes back to lock and Seal, Wong and Crichton are the edges. And Lindsay Collins
joins the bench.
Sorry, mate?
Lindsay Collins back on the bench.
Yeah. Oh, no, Fogarty's on the bench. Maybe he didn't get suspended. All right. So Lindsay Collins back on the bench with Spencer and Nafua White starting props. For the Wars, I think they're pretty much the same as they were. Yeah. What do you think, fellas?
I think that Warriors home ground advantage is a real one now, with the amount of support that they get. So
I would also suggest
close-ish game. I'd probably go with the Warriors like this one.
Warriors by a bit, Ben?
I feel like the backup for the Roosters after last week is going to be hard.
Bit of a come down.
They'll be having to travel, bit of a come down. They'll be feeling themselves a little bit, but I just think the Wars will, if they can show up like they did last week, then I'm going to take the Wars 13 plus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to go the Wars as well. I will also go 13 plus. Roosters, it feels like that was their grand final for the year last week. Yeah. For me, I don't want to write them, I don't want to be nasty, but that's the feel of it.
But fuck them.
Broncos, Cowboys. I mean, there was talk about whether Reece Walsh should be dropped during the week. That's how livid Broncos fans are. But they remain on.
So Australian fullback or dropped?
Yeah, that's right. So
Broncos fans.
Broncos remain unchanged. Nanai's come back to the bench for the Cowboys. Taumalolo's starting in at prop. And Delphi has been dropped for Jake Clifford. What do you think, fellas? Broncos, Cowboys. It's at Suncorp, I believe. Yes.
These clashes always seem to be one of those ones where it doesn't matter how good one team's going and how poorly another is. They kind of always end up 24 all with 3 to go. They're those sort of games normally.
That's such a specific tip, Dave. With 3 to go.
Can I get on that? I don't think that'll happen this time. The Broncos should be way too classy, but I don't know. Cowboys' pack hasn't been this strong yet this year, so we'll see.
I mean, we'll see how much heart the Broncos have, right? If they can't get angry and take it out on a hapless Cowboys, then that is worrying for the rest of the year. So I'm going to say Broncos by a fair friggin' bit.
I'm going to be a bit specific here because both Broncos wingers have scored handfuls in both games. So I'm going to go back to Cobbo and say Cobbo 2 tries. So Broncos into Cobbo to score 2 tries.
He's in great form.
Who drops out when Katoni? Like Katoni Staggs is on the extended bench. Who drops out for him? Utility man.
I mean, Shibasaki's been playing well.
And he's, I don't know, every time I see him, he seems bigger than he was the last time I saw him. But yeah, I mean,
Reece Walsh is the obvious answer.
Clearly. Done.
Yeah. Sharks and Rabbits. Rabbits at $6.05. That worries me. That shouldn't be the case.
Don't you love your afternoon football, though? The
3 o'clock Saturday.
At 3 p.m. on a Saturday, yeah.
How good's that?
Yes. South look kind of unchanged to me. Tallis Duncan's at lock. Joe Arrow, Kalamatangi on the edges.
Did anyone get the Tallis Duncan headgear time?
No, unfortunately
last weekend?
not. Sorry.
No, all right, fair enough.
I missed it, sorry.
And Sharks unchanged as well. I'm going to say Sharks, but I'm going to have a little... wouldn't mind looking at the line.
No, don't be silly.
Well, if they're $6...
You're being pessimistic. A pessimistic Sharks fan.
But if Souths are $6 now, what would the line be? Like, fair dinks.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, I think
10.5.
Sharks butchered a lot of tries last week. They were better than the scoreline. They're going to win this well, probably 40-6.
All right, that's a prediction.
That is a prediction.
Did you give me one, Ben?
I like that.
Don't think too hard now.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm going to take Sharks minus 16.5.
Okay.
Without having looked at the line. But
that's all right. We'll make our own line here.
Yeah, bloody oath.
Dolphins and Tigers. Again, Dolphins look unchanged despite some shocking performances, to be honest. And so do Tigers, but they've got a right to be unchanged.
They were good. You guys, I know I forwarded you both the video that fan took of Royce Hunt winding up to run off the fence.
Yeah, I'll share that on the socials. It's at KO Stadium. I'm going to have to back the Dolphins. They got to get into the season at some point. So, and they're actually favourites here.
That's interesting. Do you think if it was down here, the Tigers would probably be favourites?
Yeah,
but
I'd say so.
This is actually the Dolphins' first game at home.
Yeah,
because of the relocated game. So
absolutely, yeah. So I'll just say Dolphins straight up because I'm not brave enough for a margin.
I think Luai man of the match to steer him home in a tight one.
All right, Ben.
Yeah, I was going to take Tigers 1-12.
All right, you're welcome to.
Thank you. That's what I love about this.
Hey, it's not one each, one possible score each. Titans and Knights at Cbus Super Stadium.
It is a fullback-a-thon.
It's fullbacks a go-go.
It'll have to be some sort of record, right?
Yeah.
Most fullbacks in two starting teams playing against each other.
That's 38 fullbacks named.
So the backs for both sides are the same, except Tony Francis has come in for Lofi Khan Pereira by the looks. And again, for the Dave Fafita finds himself on the bench, not starting. Brodie Jones is...
Lucky they signed him up on that big deal so he can play off the bench.
Yes. Brodie Jones is starting for the Knights with Leo Thompson out for a bit. And there's a Cant on the bench. Thomas Cant on the bench for the Knights.
KPP got suspended, I think.
Yes, he did. So what do you think, fellas? Bearing in mind that I've got to turn this off in just a second.
Knights.
Knights.
Look, I'm going to go the Titans. Not to be contrary, but I like them and I want them to win. And Eels, Bulldogs, there's not much happening on the team list as far as I can tell here.
Burton and Kika are out for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, they
down
are.
to their last two Panthers grand final winners.
Yeah, so Bailey Howard's in at 6 and Satili Tupanua's in. That's not a bad person to bring in.
Pretty good.
Not a bad in. I will take the Dogs on the back of Stephen Crichton having an absolute terror of balls.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be up for it. Dogs.
Yeah, Dogs for me.
If Mitch Moses was playing, maybe, but no, Dogs.
Yeah, 13 plus Dogs for me.
Old 1 foot.
There was not a thing to like about the Eels on the weekends. I'm sorry to say. Sea Eagles and Raiders for the last game. As you said before, Tom Trbojevic and Daly Cherry Evans named. Do we reckon there's any shenanigans with them being pulled late, or?
Yeah, they've got a whole way. It's the last game of the round, 6 o'clock Sunday night. They've got all that extra time to maybe be ready, but
yeah. Trey Mooney finds himself on the bench finally for the Raiders. Ethan Strange, he's at 6. Xavier Savage is back.
So much pace in that Raiders backline.
Yes.
And Sticky's got them up for the first few rounds. Sticky has just got them roaring. So I will take the Raiders straight up.
I will take Manly, probably 1 to 12. I just think 4 Pines is a hard ask on a Sunday evening.
Yep, I'll do the same. Manly 1 to 6.
Well, there you go. That's us. Thanks again, gentlemen. I promise I'll watch more footy next weekend. I don't know if that will increase the quality of my opinions, but at least it's an attempt. Anything from you, fellas?
Enjoy your rugby league, Stu.
Yeah.
You too, Ben.
Thanks, Dave. I will.
Wish everyone could see your very friendly smile. Farewell all. This is an Angry Chimp podcast.